wanted to thank you for coming, all of you, and thank our speakers, Richard, Hilda, Leslie, and Carla. I've known these Richard and Hilda for years. Last month we had Linda O'Neill come and talk about the Orange County Local Partnership Agreement, and that's where I met Hilda and Richard and watched Hilda's journey with Carla. And it's been inspirational in that Carla has challenges, but she's a fabulous artist. And Hilda has done a great job working to help Carla with her strengths and pulling in from the community to make all her dreams come true. And as parents, I think that's one of our blessings and curses, is really trying to help our kids navigate their lives and make as many of their dreams come true that are possible, and give them that sense that there's hope, and that if you work hard and you have talent and a passion, that you never know what's going to happen. So I'm really excited to kick it off with Dr. Richard Rosenberg, he's one of those people that if you're going to a meeting on disabilities, he's on somebody's board or somebody knows him. So with no further ado, they're each going to introduce themselves in the meeting. So welcome, Richard.
Thank you very much, Judy, and excited to see the group. And maybe in a little bit, we'll get introductions from everyone on the call, and we can individualize some of the dialogue. So I am excited. I am Richard Rosenberg, and I've been with Carla and her family since she was middle school, and just excited to be able to share. And we have an intro from Carla. Carla's with us, but may or may not go on screen. But we do have an intro by Carla, which Leslie's going to push the play. We'll be quiet, and then we'll follow from there.
I'm Carla Sherman. I graduated from high school. But first, I finished middle school. And then I graduated from high school. And I went to college. And I moved out from family house. And then I have my own place. I worked hard video. And so in my dreams, I was thinking to have my own place. I run my movie restaurant. And I'm Lucy Photopunk. Can you help find a partner for me? And thank you for everything you want to do for me. Bye-bye. And thank you, and bye-bye.
What's important about Carla is that we've all learned how to listen to who the real Carla is. And one of the things that I've done for years is facilitated her person-driven, person-centered plan meeting, where we come together as a community and talk about who is Carla, what's happening today, what's in her dream bubble, and how can we reach that dream. And I think if you go back to her intro, it really resonates with me on a variety of levels. She navigated, she made it through inclusion in the elementary school, middle school, high school. Her 18 to 22-year life was at Cal State Long Beach, the beach, where she went for 4 years. And in many of the person-driven plans, like her paragraph at the end, looking for a partner, she's anxious to find a partner for family, for friend, for relationship, but she's also very anxious in finding a partner to help her with the movie restaurant. So again, if you listen to her intro, you can find so much of who her essence is as we're navigating and building a life. So when she was first included in elementary school, if you look in the upper right-hand corner of the book that's there, The Cage of Different People, A Story of Brotherly Love. When she went to elementary school, the teachers were not bad people, but they thought they had to protect her from all the other general ed kids who may push her, may play with her, may have a good time with her. So out of goodness, they built a frigging cage for her at the elementary school. And it didn't take long for all the kids to come into the cage with Carla, and it was her life and her friends. And pretty soon they realized the cage is not what we need to be here. We need to be inclusion, embracing, etc. And that's a lot of who Carla and her family have been as we have navigated. So high school was great, her creative side, her artsy side, and what that looks like. And another example where thinking outside the box has really built Carla's life. She wanted to go to prom, but she didn't want to go with another person with an IEP. She didn't want to go with a family member. So being creative, being in LA and Hollywood, the family went to the Screen Actors Guild and got the coolest, hottest guy who was 18 in the Screen Actor Guild to be her date. So at the Los Alamitos prom, she had one of the hottest dates of the time and had a great time. But then again, it's being creative. It's thinking outside the box. And then 18 to 22, she had a job at Blockbuster Video. Things were going well, but it was now, where's she going to spend her time 18 to 22? Her mom worked for Cal State Long Beach. Her brother was a student at Cal State Long Beach. She wanted to go there. So having friends and connections, she was able to audit classes and participate for 4 years at Cal State Long Beach. And that was, again, a really big highlight for her. And she got to get a unique award at the commencement as a lifelong learner. Then I had believed in supported living. Now I believe in self-determination, where individuals, when appropriate, can move out of their home and move into their own home. Well, the Shremick family were prepared and had a townhouse really close to their house. And at the age of 19, she moved out of her home into her own home and has not turned back. She loves her house. She loves her roommates. She's had a great life. Mom and dad are really close and built it and allowed her to grow. And it's just been the coolest thing. And I was always worried that Hilda and Carl would never talk to me. How dare I sweep out their 19-year-old daughter to have her go move into her own house. But the family and I became partners, and it was totally cool. Her dream is Carla's Movie Restaurant, and this dream has been around since she was 16 years old, and it's to have a movie restaurant for new young artists to premiere their songs, their videos, their artwork, and it has just blossomed into becoming a nonprofit and continuing every day through either pop-ups or working at a farmer's market, taking pictures of dogs. Then she went to college, and in her college life, she still continues, and she goes to Golden West, and in the theater department. And then one of her strengths and assets was to become a costume designer. So I think we're sharing this unique lady, woman, child, who could have had a very different life, being put in special ed, left in special ed, not allowed to grow and be included. And now her life has blossomed to hugeness as she navigates a great world. And I think that's really important for everyone on the call and any of your friends and anyone who watches this video later, is to embrace one's dream and keep the dream alive. And I think that's been one of my charges and been embraced by the team around her. And she has anywhere from 20 to 40 people in her dream bubble and support team. as we navigate and we move on. So just a little overview, and then I'll show you a few pictures that highlight her 16th birthday party, which was at her house, and her mom and dad, two of her buddies from high school, her special ed teacher, her brother, her instructional aide, and a colleague of ours, Marquita. And that was the team. And what is so cool, if you look at that picture, and I know I get excited, and I will turn it over to others on the call. If you look at Shannon, who's with her on her right, Shannon was one of her first roommates when she moved out. But what's even more exciting, how many years later, 30 some odd years later, Shannon's back in her circle doing her vocational support staff. So here's a peer from high school who became a roommate, who then developed her own husband, family, and life, and is now part of her vocational team. And I just think that's relationships, that's community. And as Judy said in the beginning, Hilda and the family really built a family, built a community around their daughter, which was really cool. So we have a person-driven plan, and it could be in person, or we went virtual as we needed to with COVID and all of that. But we've got these meetings where we come together and brainstorm, where's the next chapter? What does that look like? And we listen to Carla. As I said, she was a rock star at Hollywood Video for 9 years and was very successful. And that was through the Department of Voc Rehab's TPP program. Then we snuck her into Cal State Long Beach, and then she got an ID and became a student, which was cool. And she's always had her movie night at her apartment, or Bible study, or just having fun. So a peer, a friend, an equal, someone to share with and to learn and grow with. And that's kind of been her mantra for many, many years, how powerful peers are to helping her navigate. Then the Carla Movie Restaurant started. You could see we were at a restaurant bar in Seal Beach where we built it 20 some odd years ago. Carla Hilda knows more, but it's just great. And then you can go on the website and see more about Carla's Movie Restaurant. This is the most recent person-driven plan we had just 2 weeks ago. Shannon is sitting next to me in that picture, but we came together and we built, and then you'll see this great picture. Carla is our founding director of Carla's Movie Restaurant, the nonprofit, and we're all wearing our CMR hats for a board meeting with Carla and her team. We do have a sad reality that her dad passed away 6 months, 4 months, a few months ago. It's very traumatic and hard, but Carla has really risen to the occasion. And this was a premiere of Carla's office, which was converting Dad's office to her office, and the board of directors for CMR meeting with our director, Carla, in June of 2024. So it's a work in progress. It's a moving target. But the dream has always been entertainment. The dream has always been dating and relationships. The dream has always been to have a good life and celebrate. And what's embracing and wonderful is that it is a partnership between family, regional center, Department of Rehab, Section 8, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what is Carla's Movie Restaurant? It's a community-based opportunity for artists to present their work in public at a pop-up or a fair or wherever it may be. And what we really want to do is help other persons with disabilities write their own book, create their own microenterprise, have the quality life that Carla has. And as Judy nicely said, I'm all over the community and the state and the country. People would die to have the beautiful life that Carla has. Parents would love her to live with 2 people in her own condo, having activities, going to college, doing theater, et cetera, et cetera. And Carla's Movie Restaurant is a vehicle for ongoing dialogue, linkages, etc. We've had over 1,500 guests at different events. Over 100 movies have been screened, photographed 108 dogs, brought together a community and artists and performers, is looking to permanent partner, and has published a book as a resource for her microenterprise. And I think it's always been her life. She really has controlled it, and we all have to listen to Carla as we navigate. Go for it, Hilda. Thank you, team.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you, Judy. And thanks everyone for being here. And we're really blessed to have this opportunity. So Carla is here too, and she's listening in. So anything that we want to ask her, we can. So the book was something that was always an idea that was presented to us by Linda O'Neill and Richard Rosenberg, Dr. Rosenberg, like Judy mentioned at the outset. And we thought, well, maybe the right time will come along when we could write a book. So again, it's always all about the dream, all about the dream. We were having the pop-ups of Carla's Movie Restaurant, which that was pretty intensive work to pull together all the artists and to reserve the restaurant and to advertise it and have guests. We usually we had between 50 and 80 guests each time, which the restaurant liked a lot. And we were happy to have that community. And then COVID happened, and we actually had our last pop-up on February 20th, after 8 years in the same restaurant. And then in March, they shut down all the restaurants and the world was put on pause. So as everyone, we thought, what else can we do? This time could be a gift to us. Let's look at how we can continue to contribute. And so, because the idea was already there, we thought, well, let's look at the idea of the book. Again, it's all about the dream. So we always go back to, page 1, slide 1. It's all about the dream. And this is what she was talking about. So we thought, then this is what the book has to be about. One of the ways that we knew how to get started with the book was to look back and see how did we keep track of that dream of especially of the movie restaurant. And so along the way, we always had photographs. We had, when we took surveys of how people liked the events and how did it go and who came together. And so again, with the book, we went back to those grounding questions. What product or service do I want to provide? So at this point, it was writing a book so that we could, and that Carla could put forward how she got to a movie restaurant from an idea to a nonprofit after years. And so why would the book contribute to others, and maybe show them how she did it, how a big team was pulled together to do it along the years, and maybe inspire others. So it came back down to, who are the people that I like to work with? And again, her hope is that always that from working with her, that people would feel like they're contributing to others, that they would feel encouraged, and that it's a worthwhile project. So that was always lesson 1, that anything that big accomplished in her life was done with a team. So, and lesson 2 was to look around to see what opportunities are available, be open to opportunities. So looking around, what means to us is to keep track of trends. What are other people doing? Everybody else is on pause. What's going on? Read the paper. Watch what's on Google. What's going on? And so one of the opportunities was actually in our local newspaper, and it was about a professional offering a free webinar on marketing and PR for small businesses. So we thought, well, that sounds interesting. Let's see. We definitely need marketing now, especially with everything shutting down, and we need the PR. So that's how we met our co-author, Leslie. What happens with us is when we go somewhere or we listen to someone, we hang around and we keep talking to them. And so we kept talking with Leslie, and I said, Leslie, you know, everything you're doing is so amazing. And we're at the point of starting to write a book. So then Leslie comes in, and here she is.
Hello. Okay, so it may be, we always talk about who do you know, who can help you, but then you also have to recognize those new people that you didn't know before that can come in and help you. And it's total kismet. So Hilda, like she said, she just hung out after the webinar and she's like, hey, Leslie, I had written a short book, 50-page marketing guide. And she said, I really like your book. I really like that it's short, it's easy to read. You simplified the concepts and there's room to write in it. And I want to write a book. We've been talking about this and now's the right time because we can't do this other stuff. And so I said, sure, I'm on it. Tap me in. So this was really a labor of love. And so we both had time because it was COVID. That's why I was offering free webinars. Let's drum something up. And recognizing those opportunities. And it's not just that I wanted to write another book. Hilda was this amazing woman and she started telling me Carla's story. And I was so attracted to that. And it was so interesting to me to write a book of this way and reflect on her accomplishments. So when you think of writing a book and think about it as a labor of love by focusing on the impact it can have on other people's lives. That's super important. And everything that Carla's Movie Restaurant does is a wonderful example out in the community. So that's what we kept in mind. And so for the first little while, we'd say, oh yeah, we need to work on this. And Hilda had a little outline for us and, oh, we need to work on this. We need to work on this. It wasn't until we said, okay, we need to put some structure to this. Hilda gave us this outline and we needed that accountability piece. And then we also just fell in love with each other. We just had so much fun and it became this ritual every week of us getting together on a Zoom session and working on this book. So the structure. So I'd highly suggest if you're writing a book, you need to start with that structure. Start outlining everything your book needs to have. And then when you're looking at that long list, understand what you already know, what you can already write, and what research you have to do. So there may be myriad things out there that you need to research. And so you start doing that and you start cataloging all those notes and pictures and files, and you just keep sort of a scrap folder on your hard drive of just everything that you want to put in the book eventually. And keeping that research open. And can somebody help you? So dividing and conquering. So doing it it's totally possible to do it by yourself. Several authors write by themselves, but authors will also tell you what changed them was being in a writer's group. So having that feedback back and forth. So you need to choose who you know and trust, or somebody new. You need to ask for somebody new to help you, whatever their strengths are that need to complement your strengths. So in our case, we became co-authors. Okay. You might just need somebody to read and give feedback. Okay. And let me, I'm going to turn this off for half a second to show you the book. And we'll get back to this. Let's stop share. Okay, so can you see the book? Okay. Okay, so this is how the book ended up. And it is relatively short. It's not It's less than 100 pages. You could, read it in an afternoon and then go back. And this table of contents was pretty much the structure from the beginning. Okay, so Hilda gave me this. This is what I think it needs to have. And then we fleshed it out from there. There's a detailed table of contents so people can find exactly what they're looking for. And then it goes through, it's as much a memoir as it is a how-to book. Okay, so, and you decide what kind of book you want. You might just want to write a memoir, or you might want to just write a how-to book. But it has pictures that catalog the journey of creating Carla's Movie Restaurant. There's, you're seeing some of these, the person-centered planning sessions. There's a fill in the blank session. Who can help me? You keep track of all these things. And this becomes your guidebook for writing your book or starting your microenterprise, whatever. It just guides you through it. And there's pictures. It's very accessible for a number of reasons, right? So we wanted to write something that anyone could engage with. Okay. And I think we accomplished that.
Yes.
So maybe, and we had all that information. Hilda had kept track of everything and Carla had kept track of everything. They had notes. There was great quotes we could pull from. And because she loves movies, we used movie verbiage throughout the book and really gave it that interesting framework. Maybe what you need help with is just somebody to proofread your book, not necessarily give you advice because you already know it. It's your memoir, it's your story, but you need a little help. Like, where does that comma go? Those kinds of things. Or there may be other helpers that you need. So that will come to fruition. You just stay open and see what comes your way. Okay, then accountability. So Hilda and I started meeting every Friday morning. And we looked forward to that time every week. And so the first 5 or 10 minutes, how's your week? How are you doing? And we became really good friends through that. And I learned so much. This was such an enriching experience for me to help. And we came out with a really good product. But that structure, and even if you're writing it yourself, set aside that writing time when you're going to do that stuff. It won't write itself. Okay. So setting apart that time, just structuring that, and with the accountability, since then, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do a next book for my marketing information. And so I'll just keep that Friday morning. Oh no, Hilda's not there for me. Just let it go. So that accountability buddy, right? You've heard that accountability. That is so helpful. And then set a deadline for yourself and stick with it. So what really helped us wrap things up is that we wanted the books for the CalTASH conference that was coming up in Los Angeles. And so we figured out, okay, well, let's work backwards from that date and reverse engineer it. And that was a really good deadline for us. And sometimes you have to adjust because we didn't end up having all of the books there on the table at the conference. Instead, we had the little card that you saw, the red and white card with a QR code, and we had some samples. So sometimes you have to adjust, and that's okay. If people saw the book, we got to talk to them, they ordered the book, they walked away with the cards to order later, and they were inspired by the process by talking to us at the table. Okay, so here's our Friday mornings, lots of big smiles. You want to make sure that this is a fun experience.
Yes.
If it is a grueling experience, then you might not be in the right frame of mind yet to write a book. Okay, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And there's a lot to do. It seems like it's a piece of cake. 70 pages. They put a lot of pictures in. They have to write that much, but it's a lot of work anticipating what will somebody need from this book. Right. And then having fun with that. It was so important and so great. And really, it was a document of this dream. Right. So like I mentioned, it's as much a memoir of Carla's life as it is a how-to guide. And anybody can use this book to start a microenterprise. And microenterprise is just the term for a teeny tiny business. It's like less than 10 people. Right. And most businesses that start are solopreneurs. Right. So it's one person who has some great artwork and they, want to create a business around that. What are those channels for selling? All of that. And that's all outlined in the book. People love memoirs. People love knowing it's a true story. It inspires them. And it inspires them to act. So they not just feel good and want to root for this person now, they also realize that they can take part and further the betterment of other people's lives. So we made the book highly visual, lots and lots of pictures, those fill in the blank activities, super easy, really a great tool for anyone starting a business. And I went through these things. And then we did a glossary of terms to learn the business lingo. Sometimes if you get any business book on Amazon, and we did this, we went through other books, we did our research, like what else is out there, and everything very similar to when I was writing my marketing book, everything was so complicated.
Yeah.
Who was going to sit down with a 300 page book that's really like a textbook? Nobody wants to do that. It's not appealing. And so we knew that this was for a novice. This was for a person just entering business, and they needed to know those terms. We couldn't throw around a lot of jargon that didn't mean anything. So the glossary lends people, it gives them that opportunity to learn that stuff. So anticipate your audience. What do they need? What does the reader need? And we don't want to lose them. We want to make sure that they can follow along and they're not inundated with big words or complicated concepts. Okay. So our advice to others, you need to keep track of what you're writing about. Okay, here's Carla at her restaurant, at her computer. And then here's a picture of one of the first Carla Movie Restaurant events. In every restaurant, ask them, when are you coming back? Because they loved the energy. They loved what it did for the restaurant. They loved caring about the student films. So keep track of those things. Take pictures of what you're learning along the way. Keep a file with all of those notes. And anyone you keep in touch, anyone that you meet along the way, keep in touch with them. Hilda's amazing at that.
Yes.
Every time she meets someone, she keeps track of them. Okay, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Okay, so for us, here's some nitty-gritty about publishing the book. So the traditional route of publishing is you get an agent. The agent helps you polish up the book so it's ready to sell. Then they pitch it to publishers. And if a publisher wants it, then they ask to see it. And it goes through a bunch of review processes inside the publishing house, and then they decide what they want to do. They get back to the agent. It's months, years sometimes. Okay, we bypass that. We wanted to get a product out to the public as soon as possible. At CalTASH, that became our deadline, our focus date. So we bypass that traditional publishing. And we chose Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing program. It is a very favorable program for anyone who wants to self-publish quickly, and anyone who doesn't know a lot about the publishing industry and doesn't want to. The publishing industry can be very cutthroat. We didn't want to go through all that rejection for what? We knew this book had value out in the community and it needed to be there quickly. So when I say Kindle Direct Publishing, people say, oh, but I want a printed version. Yes, Kindle Direct Publishing offers you the print version as well as a Kindle version. So, and you can decide the pricing on that. It's your business. It's completely your business when you are creating this, creating a book this way. So it's called, I don't know if you're familiar with the term, print on demand. So you don't have to, some vanity presses, you publish your book and you buy a bunch of books and then you have to resell them. Okay. So that route leaves you with a lot of books that you're lugging around in your garage or in the corner of your office. You have to constantly be moving around, dusting off for the next sales opportunity. Instead, we didn't want that. So instead, people order one, they order 10 for a class, they order, 25, 100, whatever. They go online, they order that. Then Amazon, who has massive printing capabilities, prints that many, maybe a few more, and then they send them out. Okay, so they are also not storing tons of books in a warehouse. They're printing on demand. So that's what that means. And next time you go on Amazon, if you're looking at a book, it might say something like 2 available. That means we ordered 28, they printed 30, 2 are available right now, which means you're going to get them quicker because they're not going to tell North Carolina, hey, we need 25 more books, right? So that's where that's a little insight into Amazon. So sometimes it takes us a little bit longer, but it's totally within reason. Okay. It's equipment efficient. Richard said that term yesterday, and it's totally true. You just need your computer. Okay. And you can format it, or you can use their software to format it. And it's very easy. They tell you exactly what to do. You can also, another option is you hire somebody online from Upwork or Elance, one of those companies that gives you people to format it for you, and they'll do it very inexpensively. The royalties for authors are better than you would get from a traditional publisher. Okay, so that's very much in your favor, especially when you might write a book that's, ideal for a few thousand people. But if you make, more than, a few dollars a book, then that's okay, right? Yep. And then they do what's called author copies. So if somebody's wants to buy some, like SCORE just bought, another organization that helps mentor businesses, bought my books. They bought them from me. So I bought the author's copies, and then they bought them from me. And the author copies are cheaper than they would buy online on Amazon. Okay. So I made more money and they got a better deal. Okay. So the economics of Kindle Direct Publishing are very favorable for the author. It's easy to set up, you upload and you make it live really quickly. And then you can update it. So if something changes, you can update it very quickly. You just re-upload. It's very simple. And think about this. Some people don't love Amazon because it's an economic giant. It's a retail giant. 70% of all books in the world are sold on Amazon. You cannot afford not to be on Amazon. So a traditional publishing house will definitely put you on Amazon. That's probably their biggest seller. But so you want to be there too. Most people don't know. If they go on Amazon, they buy a book, they don't look at who the publisher is. They have no idea if you're self-published or if you're from Random House unless they specifically look for that. There's no shame in doing this. Okay. Okay. So no, we've done a lot of talking. So before we do this, Richard, Hilda, is there anything that you've thought about that we missed?
I just like the idea that for Diana and Marcos and Carmen and Blas, whatever you think you may want to write, it's an open slate. It's an opportunity. It's there. And I just think it's so exciting. So don't be stuck on Carla's as a microenterprise. There's a lot that could be published and exciting as we move forward.
Right. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is if you have a piece of paper, or you can even, open a Word file in your computer, what will you write about? Or what would you write about? So would you do a memoir on your own life? And a memoir is not an autobiography. It's not every little thing. It's one thread of your life, right? So even though Carla was spectacular in formulating Carla's movie restaurant and following that dream, there's even more to her, right? There's several threads that make up Carla. Okay, so you might tell your one little section about going to college, or about going to high school, or about, there's portions of your life that you could just write about, or one little thread of your life. Could you write fiction? You want to write fantasy or magical realism or mystery, or something like that, some sort of a novel. Or if you want to write straight nonfiction, these are lessons learned, or research something that interests you and go into it very extensively, or something else. Nice. Judy put in the chat, I would write about the benefits of Toastmasters for autistic individuals, and then explain how I did this, how you can do it. Share some of the stories of people on the Toastmasters journey. Oh, that's incredible.
That's
great. I would read that. Yes. Yep. Okay. And then the next question, why do you want to provide or share this story or information? So think about, what compels you to write the story? And it could be because the simple truth of it didn't exist. Or
Mhm.
Hilda saying, we went through this and we muddled through and we asked these people and these people and these people, but how would people know? How would people know, especially if they're not as tenacious as Hilda and Carla? Let's ask. A lot of people are not that bold to do that. So why do you want to provide or share this story or information? And then what do you hope your reader will gain from reading it? I hear typing. So if you're willing to share, please put it in the chat.
Or you can talk if that's comfortable for you too. Diana, Carmen, Marcos, Blaze, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Well,
Diana?
yes, my name is Diana. My son is interested in writing about comic books.
Oh,
Comic book.
great.
Oh, good.
Comic books. Yeah,
Love comic books.
comic books. Uh-huh.
Very
there's-
good.
There's a whole group, and I work with a community in Torrance that does animation and what that looks like. And Judy is outrageously well connected with authors in animation and others. So that's great, Diana.
Thank you.
Keep
And
that
I'm going
dream
to
alive.
Comic-Con next week because
There you
that's
go.
Wow, that's great.
So on Thursday, one of the films that we made as part of the Autism and Entertainment Conference which is about Danny Bowman, got chosen to be shown at the Comic-Con Film Festival. So I get to go to Comic-Con next
Wow,
week.
that's so
great.
great. So Judy also added in the chat, but Toastmasters is highly accessible, and the fact that this is a fantastic way to improve communications, to enhance your social life, gain confidence, and improve communication skills. Perfect. So that's a real appeal. You just wrote your book jacket, Judy. And Richard said he'd write about the power of person-centered planning from point A, birth, to qualify dreams do come true. It's fantastic. And Carmen says, I am a painter, so something about
Yes.
art. Great. Blaze says, I want to make cartoons too. Very good. Marcos, never really thought about it. I'd write
Good.
about my personal life and my journey so far. Perfect.
That's great.
And Hilda said, we'd love to have the authors at a CMR pop-up. So that's the thing. They show these movies, but they also have performers at the events. It's great. Okay, wonderful.
Good job, guys. Thank you. That helps.
Okay, so now that you know that possibilities are endless and you don't want to go through a million ways of figuring something out. So the best thing to do is ask the experts to, attending something like this. So you learn more about what the process is like and how to catalog your personal journey. So you want to look at the people you admire in the marketplace, whether it's other authors. If you want to write a mystery, look at some other mystery writers. See if they've had some interviews, and most of them have. You can find videos on YouTube where they'll talk about their process. They'll talk about what inspired them. So seek out those experts and what you want to work on so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So just recognizing what areas you need help with, finding out who already knows the stuff there and going to them, and not just knowing, but then also, poking up on their radar. Hey, I just watched your TED Talk. I'm really inspired. That was interesting that you talked about this. And that's, a barrier that I have also. And they may get back to you. It's been surprising when Hilda tells me all of these huge bigwigs who said, oh, sure, I'll spend an hour with you.
Yep.
And keep in mind who you're serving, right? So the people you're serving are really experts, right? So whoever you think are going to be those readers, talk to them. What would you like to see in a book? What do you think is missing? Have you seen a book that's about what I want to write about? Allow others to volunteer their resources, super important. You have to be open to that. When people volunteer, take them up on it. And there will always be others who benefit just from your process and your perseverance and your determination and your diligence in writing a book, no matter what the topic is.
Can we back up
Yep.
1 second, Leslie?
Yep.
This is a really important section in the book. And for you all to know that anything Carla has accomplished or has gotten her through her dreams into higher levels was from this section. So many experts, so many professionals, so many people that are generous and kind with their time and their expertise, including from a TED Talk that we attended. So if anyone looks at our book, this is a very important section for advice from the experts. So yeah, thanks to everyone that has helped her. It's just been amazing. We never would have thought about this, that this would happen this way, but it does work. People are very generous.
Hilda and Richard and Leslie, tell us about what happens at the pop-up movie restaurant experience. What time does it happen? How many films are shown? What is a typical evening?
Okay, so it's never, you always get the unexpected. Okay, so it's not like somebody comes to one and they know what to expect at the next one, and it will be repeated. The format is the same, or has been. It's in a restaurant and the guests come in, and we always have had filmmakers with short films. We always have art on exhibit that can be, that's for sale. Musicians that are able to sell their CDs. And so there are ways for the community to support the artists directly. At the beginning, because we are beginning, and even to this day, is with a partnership with Cal State Long Beach College of the Arts. So that's where we get the films and we preview everything. They allow us to come into their presentation and we look at all the films and pick the ones that would fit our population, our guests. And in the past, we had some sessions that lasted 4 hours because the chair of the film department was so excited about showing so many films. Typically, it's a 2-hour show, let's say, and it typically was Thursday, Friday nights, whenever the restaurant would give us the date. Always full of people. The community that was formed, people wanted to return to see their friends again because they know we're all interested in this, and the restaurateurs too. So the restaurants made money, right? And they even hired extra help on the nights that we came. The restaurants made money. Everyone would leave feeling good about, because it's the art is like this spiritual experience, and by us choosing the proper films and artists, it was, everyone left feeling good. So
Hilda, will you do a little detour here? Because I don't know if anyone's interested in being in film, to be an actor or actress, or actor is the right political way for everyone now. Can you talk a little bit about Carla's acting history and future?
So Carla's acting. So, okay, so another thing that Carla did to contribute, and because of these experiences, was to do a series of 3 films on dating, and 3 examples of how to go out on a date. And this was her idea. We thought it would be a one-time shot, but no, she says it's a trilogy. So the first one was a date with the date coming to her house for dinner and watching a movie. The second film is about a date going out to play golf. And the third one was a date at her, made up character birthday party with a band and friends and fill the room. And so this series was to show others how to go out on a date. What can you do on a date? And it continues. She has the script for the fourth movie.
Hey.
So that's also an important part, that an artist, and this is what we learned from other artists, are not necessarily confined to just being a painter or a writer. And so our idea with Carla's Movie Restaurant is also to explore that. And when we have the films, we invite the filmmakers, and sometimes they're professors, and we have a Q&A with the audience where they say, how did they make the film? Just an interview session that the audience really likes, that because it's always a learning experience. And then some of the art has sold for quite a bit of money too. So, and if we do get donations, or when we do get donations, that allows us to support the artists and to keep CMR going. So it's grown, and so we have those years of experience, and now looking to come back on in person.
Thank you.
So
Do any of the participants have a unique question? Any question is a good question. No questions are silly, so we can entertain. We have some more sharing of the future, but I just want to take a little pause and see if Diana, Blaise, Carmen, Marcos have any questions or concerns, or want feedback on your film topic or your book topic. You can use the chat, or you can unmute and we can interact. Your choice.
So Carmen asks in the chat, how do we find out about where the next pop-up will be?
Great question, Hilda.
Okay, so we have our website, which is carlasmovierestaurant.org, just how it sounds. And so yeah, that's where we post it. And we're in the process of creating just a CMR website. So that's coming up new. Our website now has a lot of Carla's history and our journey. Thank you. And also, if you want to send us your email, we send out individual emails to people announcing events. So if you want to give us that, you'll be on our mailing list.
Great question.
We'll go back to the slides. Okay. Okay, here's another video from Carla.
Hi, I'm Carla. I'm owner of my movie restaurant. I was looking for a partner and find a location for us. I hope you come to my movie restaurant. I hope you come to this one. For pop-up, we show movies to everyone, and we have something you want to do and just bring films. And I hope you enjoy it and come to my movie restaurant. Thank you.
There you go. So you were personally invited by Carla.
Yeah.
Okay. And now Hilda's going to talk about what's next for Carla.
So, okay, so also during, as COVID got resolved somehow, we still needed to find an outdoor venue for CMR. And this was Carla's idea too. She says, I need to get back to in-person pop-ups, not just the ones that are virtual. And she says, how can we do this outdoors? A lot of the restaurants were shutting down their outdoor areas. And so at the time she got a new dog and she loved taking pictures of it. And she said, why can't we use this for others? Why can't we do dog pictures outdoors? And so again, we said, okay, how can we do this? So we started asking, and we thought, are we going to advertise that we're at the park? What permit do we need? There were so many things to figure out. And then one of our friends just mentioned, there's a new farmers market starting up in Carla's neighborhood. Why don't you ask there? So we went to the Rossmore Community Services District and said, how would this work? This is what we'd like to do. And we got a booth, and then we had to figure out, well, how to set it up, what would we do? What are we going to do with the pictures? So we came up with that the pictures would be digital and that they would be emailed to people within a week of having their pictures taken at our booth. So Carla is the one that signs up people as they come, which was an amazing experience for me to watch that, to see her interacting with the community and signing people up to get their dog's picture taken. And it's Carla's roommate who takes the pictures. And then with her staff, they send them out. But out of that, it was really amazing for me to see Carla speaking with the manager of the farmers market to how to set this up in a continuing basis. It was incredible. And then a person came up to the table and was talking to her again. And I thought, I wonder what they're talking about. And it was the editor of our local magazine called Rossmore Living. And she said, would you be interested in having a regular column in our monthly magazine to feature a dog from the community with a story to go with it? And so that, I think the value of being out there in the community and putting ourselves out there, it's a little bit risky sometimes. We take a risk by putting it all out there. But with knowing where we are in the community, even at one of the pop-ups, her doctor came, her oncologist with his 2 children came to say, Carla, I haven't seen you in such a long time, her former doctor. And so I haven't seen you in such a long time. This is amazing. And so the ramifications to this has just been incredible. So we go all summer until once a month until Halloween, and which is a really fun one too, because people dress up their dogs and it's near the holidays. So families just pose behind their dogs so that they can get a Christmas picture. And it's all give. Just amazing. The advertising is online. The pre-production was, at first, we didn't know, how are these pictures going to turn out? So we had to set it up with a distance and a camera. And now people coming now come a lot for community. And even people without dogs would like to come and hang out. It's almost like the dogs are not service dogs, or how do you say it, like where they comfort and they like to be around them. We had a couple of weeks ago, we had 2 young girls come with their cameras because we invite other photographers to participate. And they came with their cameras, and the mother said, my daughter is a little bit afraid of dogs and all this. Well, by the end of the day, she's there taking pictures of dogs. She's comfortable. We had senior citizens come and just sit around and chat with people. And in the meantime, we also had dogs that were photographed. So it was a good idea, Carla.
Yes.
And of course, with a large group to make it happen. And really moving forward with confidence. I have to say that the book gave Carla a lot of confidence because it helped us all together to remember those past 10 years and look how it started and look how far you've come, Carla. Look how far you've come with the help of so many people and what it took. And then even our, service coordinator from regional center has been coming, and just it's just been, nothing's gone wrong. We thought dogs might get in fights. No, because the owners there take care of them, and they're excited. I mean, people just
So Hilda, I have an idea of something that Carla can consider. Now that you have all these photos of pups, maybe you should make a calendar.
Oh, oh,
that's nice.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Thank you.
Dogs make a good calendar.
Thank you. That's a good one. And we do have our poster child, this little boy, and he keeps coming back with his little dog. And so, and families are behind it, and Carla gets known in the community. So when something's put up and you go, oh, is that Carla, the girl that has the thing at at the farmer's market? And they've been incredibly generous with making the booth affordable.
Right.
Because other markets we could not. We looked at other markets and you had to sign a year contract and it was very expensive. So this is her local little market. Okay, thank you. Good idea, Judy. That's awesome. So that did give us confidence, and it continues to build. It's with her nonprofit. She's a member of the Chamber of Commerce. We love friends and now considering partnering with other businesses. The other thing she's working on is she's writing a passion play on the Passion of Christ and producing that. She's doing the costumes, and she will be having auditions of people to be in the play, looking to have that done by the end of this year. She's still doing costume designs for Orange County Children's Theater, taking one class per semester at Golden West College in musical theater, and with the pop-ups, and it's all falls under her dream. Everything is under the dream. She's not doing anything that she doesn't want to do, or that she won't do something she doesn't want to do. But exploring and listening to her, and sometimes an idea just comes up driving in the car, and oh yeah, like the other day, just driving to the dentist, and she said, I'm thinking that with the dog pop-ups, we should get movies from photographs of dogs from people in other countries. And so she says, I think they would like to see their dogs.
I love it.
And so now it's going international, right? And it's all about giving and making, giving people happiness. And that's really been the story of her life, is that as hard as it was at the beginning, that always she knew that by going for full inclusion when it was so hard to do 30 years ago, that by pushing through and by putting herself out there and having a lot of courage, that was part of her job for being who she is. So we always go back to person-centered planning, which we could not do without that, because that's the map, that's the guidebook. Those posters are just what she uses to do her plans. So thank you to the big team. Oh, yeah. And then last year she was awarded as an Orange County Visionary by the LA Times 2023. So there's all these big people receiving these awards, and we said they were having this big event at a bar. It was a private event at a bar, and we said, well, how are we going to do this? And they said, we've never had someone with a disability or a different ability like hers in a group like this. And so that's another example of, by putting herself out there, that she's changing minds of even people at LA Times and, you know, wherever it touches. And then this quote from Professor Smith at College of Business Administration at Cal State Long Beach. I think he just said it all. It's in entrepreneurship, it's how creative and persistent somebody is. You have perseverance in Carla. The pop-ups fulfill passion and provide support to artists. And really, that's
Good.
in a nutshell. He said it. He said it all.
Perfect.
Okay, yours.
The QR code is there that you could hit and have it delivered to your house tomorrow or the next day, or you can get the Kindle version, which is exciting.
Yeah, and there's some downloads in there too. So if you get the Kindle version, then you don't have to type in the URL.
That's good.
Very good. Oopsie.
Well, thank you.
Oops.
Thank you so, so much. Are there any more questions before you get off? Everybody gets to go have a weekend. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Any more questions? You can just, we're opened up for questions. There's Carmen. She says, can you put the QR code up again?
Of course.
Perfect. Diana, Blas, Carmen, Marcos. Hey, Linda, thank you for joining.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
This was really, really wonderful. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all of you, and especially to Carla on this amazing journey and amazing success.
Thank you for the opportunity, Judy, and from Carla and all of us. And we hope this has a good outcome for you all.